The artistic impressions covering the wood fence used to cordon off the earmarked area for the construction of the National Cathedral is an indication of government's resolve to undertake the project. If constructed, it will be one of the major initiatives to have survived widespread criticisms. The National Cathedral has been at the center of heated public debate since the government stated its intention to carry out the project in 2018. For some, the move is beyond the role of the state, as they argue for a distinction between the affairs of the state and religion. Some, like a former youth organizer of the Convention People's Party, James Kwabena-Domfe, feel that getting a ruling from the Supreme Court to halt the process. Government has maintained that the project will be funded by donations. The construction is expected to begin by March 6 this year. The cordoning off is one of the major physical exercises to have been done as far as the National Cathedral's construction is concerned. We've caught up with the Secretariat to get more understanding of the National Cathedral, what we should expect within this period to somewhere March 6th this year, when actual construction is supposed to begin.
At the moment, what we are looking at is really almost revising the Museums and Monuments Act to incorporate the National Cathedral. So that's from the legislative part. That would be the role of the Secretariat. In addition, we're also working with the trustees for the fundraising. But the other part is really the technical part. We are working with the architects to ensure that the whole procurement process, the process of procuring a contractor, takes place.
Within what period will this contractor be selected?
At the moment, I think within 2 weeks, the tendering documents must come back. And so we're hoping really that by the middle, at the latest, by the middle of February, a main contractor will be in place.
How much are we talking about to put up the entire cathedral?
The finance minister indicated when he read the budget this year that it will cost over $100 million. The exact amount will be known once the drawings are finished and the quantity surveyors have gone over the figures.
How are we faring with the donations that people are making?
At the moment, at least from the Secretariat side, we are very encouraged by the response. Normally, funds start coming in when people begin to see that this is real. Because only a very few people give to concepts. These are abstract concepts, but once it begins to take place, we are confident that we will be able to raise them. We are developing, at the moment, we're actually developing a platform, an online platform, where donations received will be made available online.
We would basically go around and look at some of the artistic impressions and get to understand what really we should expect when in 4 years' time the Secretariat is able to put out the National Cathedral.
Essentially, yes, it's one big plinth, a platform, and then the main auditorium sits atop of it. But I think what is almost the most exciting part for us, but also in terms of its contributions, is really what goes in the plinth. So to start with, even the design itself is almost revolutionary. It's a design that is located in biblical history. The roof of the cathedral actually represents the royal umbrellas through which we reveal the king. So when in the New Testament, when the veil is torn, what you see is the King of Kings, the Christ the King revealed. In the Ghanaian context, or in the African context, where Christ the King is revealed, we only reveal divinity, royalty, through our royal umbrellas, and that becomes almost the roof for the cathedral. The main body, the main auditorium sits atop this plinth, this platform, and that's 5,000 inside. You can expand it to 15,000. The most critical or the most interesting part of the contribution of the cathedral is what also goes in here. We have a Bible museum, we have conference centers in it, we have a national crypt under. That's also part of what the president meant when he said this is going to be our sacred infrastructure.
So just for clarity, this will be the main auditorium, and it has 3 floors or 4?
It's going to be about 3 or 4 floors. We have a parking also under. And then we have a restaurant. We have cafes, we have bookshops, we have a music school, we have kind of flexible multi-purpose. You can have banquets, you can have different events. What you see, the whole idea is that this must be a living monument. It shouldn't really be a monument where we come once a year when there's a state funeral, or where there is every 4 years when there is a inaugural service for a new president. But that it should really be this monument around which we almost build cohesion, as the Supreme Court indicated. And so you have all these spaces. We also have the park, both a biblical gardens concept where you want to ensure that this almost draws people onto itself, that we want to bring in vegetation from the Holy Land, so that even for research purposes, people who have never seen an olive tree can come to the gardens and witness that. In addition, we have the main national park, which really is, if you look at it going forward, that becomes really this national garden for recreation. People can come every day after work, you can come and sit down there and just simply relax, meditate, and do what you want to do. But essentially, this is almost the economic engine of the project.
The buildings of several state institutions had to be demolished to make way for the project. Key amongst them is residential facilities belonging to some 9 judges, as well as the Scholarship Secretariat. While these institutions showed little or no resistance towards the demolition exercise, key critics of the project have based the opposition on these demolition exercises that were carried out. But for authorities of the Scholarship Secretariat, the project is a blessing in disguise. To them, the demolition has resulted in a relocation to a structure better than their dilapidated wooden office.
We see it as a blessing because despite the fact that there was construction going on for a new office complex at that same compound, once we have been relocated to a befitting office infrastructure, we think that it's a blessing to us.
Reporting for Citi News, Hansen Ajaman.